Hi folk, I'm having a wee play. I'm absolutely shattered, but I haven't done much crafting today. I've just been footering rather than doing. So I've decided, with it coming into springtime, with it starting to get to nicer weather, we are starting to get into wedding season. So, with some of these stunning laces that we have got from our Amanda, now this was one I purchased a long time ago and I've hoarded it. Hands up, I do it a lot. I hoard and I hoard and I hoard. But it is so pretty. If you look at it, it is just stunning. So decorative. And I did actually have this one out first to use, but it was just too wide for what I wanted, because I want to make a choker. But for that to go on a choker, your neck would need to be quite long, and there's not very many females out there with a long neck anymore. And the other fact being is, I want a wee dangle on it. I want a wee pearl or a wee diamante coming down from one of the dangles. And to do that on this would just be silly, because there would be nowhere for it to go. So I shelved that one and I decided on this one. And at halfway I have put a wee jump ring there. Haven't chosen what I'm putting on it yet. At the side here I have trimmed a bit of seam binding, and what I've done is I've cut it in the centre, like down the middle, and thread it through both parts of the loop. I'll just show you what I mean. Right, there's none on that side. Let me see this side. Oh, I can't. But that's like where the ending is. So what I've done is I've snipped it, put one through there and one through here, and then what I'm going to do is hot glue it onto the other side of the fabric so that it's tight and it won't come loose when it's getting tied on, because it's the same colour as what I'm putting on it. And I wanted to keep it simple. I don't want any metal or anything, because on your wedding day you have got usually buttoned up, and I don't want things to be really hard to get on and off. I want it to be nice and simple and soft round the skin. So seam binding is really, really soft. This lace is nice, it's not a scratchy lace, so I thought it would be ideal. So I'm just taking my glue gun, which should be warm enough. I can just get half the strands off it. There we go. And I'm just going to put a small amount there and just fold it down onto the seam binding, and then do the same at this side here. And the good thing about this is, even if they do buy this for a wedding, it could easily be dyed, coloured to suit any occasion after it. So you're not going to be limited, which I think is very important, because weddings these days is not cheap. It is very, very, very costly, and I would want something that people can use again and again and again. Right, so that's the inside, and as I said, being there, it's not going to be rough on their neck at all. It's nice and smooth. and from the outside you don't see any of it. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. I'm just getting another bit of seam binding that I've been hoarding. Sad but true. Right, you move back out in the road. So I'll show you what I've done now. So just take my seam binding, whoops, got a bit of cheesecloth, and just snip down the centre. Doesn't need to be really long. Okay. And then where we're putting it through, make sure I've got it the right way. I have. I was just making sure, because I've got a habit of doing things the wrong way. So just putting it through the first hole here and pull it through. Put it through the second hole and pull it through, and then lie it flat so I can see what I'm doing. Alright, make that nice and level. There we go. And then we just take one side and a wee bit of hot glue and just fold it over. And just press it down. There we go. And next one is just a little bit of hot glue and fold it over. And then if there's any wee loose bits, just tidy them up now. There we go. And then for the end, just for now, I'm going to use my pinking shears, but what I would advise is just searing the edges ever so slightly. These pinking shears are pants, but needs must to stop it fraying like mad. There we go. So it's like that just now. And that's you got your choker. Now I have measured it at 16 inches because apparently that's a standard choker size. But it's really easily amended. If it's too large, just snip off one section and move your ribbon over. It's not hard at all. Right, so now I need to find a dangle for there. Now what do I want? Wait to see, I do have some in here I think. No, they're all too long. Don't like them too long, too long. So I've got this one in here, and I think I will use this wee one here. Just a small pink crystal, but I think it'll work nicely. So I'm just going to get a pair of pliers out. Give me a second. Oh. Right. So I'm just twisting that slightly over. Got to just make sure that's aligned properly. I don't want it falling off of there. And what I would do with this is just ever so slightly add a tiny wee bit of E6000 to it, and that will just stop it from coming loose, because the last thing you want on a bride's wedding day is for things to fall apart. It's just not acceptable for a wedding day. Absolutely no chance. I just wouldn't allow it. I don't like my jewellery falling apart at any point, but on a bride's day, absolutely no chance. Oh my goodness, fingers and thumbs today, that's what it is. So I'm just closing that jump ring over if I can. Not jump ring, the eye pin. Come on, behave. There we go, that's it, starting to go. That's it. So there we go. It's just nice and delicate, and when it's along the neck, it will just dangle nicely without it being over the top. And you could make cuffs for this in the exact same way, because it's a nice length, it's not going to be over the top. I mean, I did initially think maybe these for cuffs, because these are quite pretty, but I prefer the double side. I don't like this hemline on it, so I prefer that for the double sided, especially if they're wearing a short dress. This is lovely, and you could actually make it into where is it, if you get like a watch face, you could have the braid tied on and then have a small watch face on the inside, so that the bride will always still have the time on her without it being visible in any of photos or anything. And I thought that would be quite a pretty idea. Or you could easily do it with the same idea, but maybe add like an applique on top to trail over the front of the hand, and then have maybe like part of it, like maybe just have it attached here, so that this top part could be hiding behind a watch, and it would be absolutely stunning coming down her arm. So that's another idea. And then I've cut these two smaller plaques that I am going to make into earrings, and then I'm just going to add a small bit of gemstones coming up this smaller plaque here, just ever so slightly. I don't want loads and loads, and I don't want loads of dangle either. I think that's just enough, because you're going to have the earring and the drop is going to add a bit that onto it anyway. It's going to bring it up to a bit here, so I think that's enough of a drop. But to add that bit of sparkle, I'm going to add the diamantes coming up this little motif, and I think that will make it look pretty. But you can do it with anything. I mean, you could cut out perhaps like this type of section and make that into an earring, and just maybe put like a small pearl in the centre there, just to keep it pretty and elegant. So it's just some ideas for how to incorporate, especially if it's someone you know who's getting married. It's a way of you saying, do you know what, I want to contribute to your big day. I want to do something for you for your big day, especially if it's your daughter. I mean, obviously it's out of the question of making wedding dresses. They're just in a class of their own. And perhaps you're not the greatest jewellery maker in the world. And I'll be honest, if my mother had turned around and said, oh, I want to make you jewellery for your wedding, I'd say no, because she's ham-fisted. But do you know something? I think if someone made me something like that, I'd be quite happy to wear that. It's quite simplistic, it's timelessly elegant, and it's just beautiful. I honestly can't think of anything any prettier. And if they're wearing their hair up, you could easily perhaps use the same type of idea wrapped round a bun, and then have something dangling down the back, maybe similar to the pendant on the front of the choker. Maybe just have a few crystals coming down in the same type of colour, and it will just add that extra wee bit of elegance again. But as I said, it's totally up to you. I'm just trying to give you some ideas on how to think about your laces in a different way. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and I will speak to you all soon. Bye for now.